Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are live for the 100% tier in UFRL. And tonight we are at Zandvoort, the Netherlands. Good opportunity for some drivers to pick up more points, and also a good chance for the reserves to showcase their talents and capabilities in these tricky 100% races, given the duration of them. Of course, it will be a challenge. Typically you'll be getting up to about an hour and a half of racing here, so they've all got to be head down, focused. And with Zandvoort, it can be quite well known to make a mistake, and even it's not too unexpected nowadays to make a mistake out of the final bend through into turns 13 and 14 even. But let's see who the first drivers are currently out on track, shall we? And let's get the tyres up. We should expect most to go soft for the first run, and it is in fact the Mercedes who is the first driver, so that will be Doug. There you go. That makes it a bit easier. Right, we'll stick with Doug then, but we'll go through the grid for you for this evening's Grand Prix, so let's see how we fare up. Right, in the Red Bull for this evening's race then, it is Jar Jar Bing alongside Sergeant Devsey. We have seen Devsey before. We saw him in Tier 2, which I actually thought he'd done a pretty decent job after watching the race back. Yeah, and in all credit to him, he knew what was going on in terms of he didn't try and get involved in those challenging for the win as well. So yeah, fair play to Sergeant Devsey, but he'll be here tonight alongside Jar Jar Bing in the Red Bull. In the Ferrari, it will be Folkor Warrior alongside Angry Badger. Again, Folkor Warrior, you're trying to see what his general pace is. I think Ferrari is at about the right level for him. And Angry Badger, don't see him often in the 100% tier, but he's going to be given his opportunity in that Ferrari in the place of WBA Brewdog, who unfortunately cannot make it tonight. In the Mercedes, it will be Algerie and Doug. Algerie, of course, getting used to his new wheel. Hopefully he'll be in for a better showing this evening, but again, a tricky track. Doug at 110.5, and that is the first run to go through. And I'm expecting Hazer probably will go quickest. Yep, 110.3, although very, very close between that top three at the moment, with Hazer, Coffee and Doug, all separated by about 0.2 of a second. Not even that, about 1.5 tenths really. Great effort from each of those drivers then. Further down we see Boss Jan goes 4th fastest. It's a 110.7, and I Am Batman settles in behind Mr. Poem. And we'll go to the Ferrari Folkor Warrior, who goes quickest. It's a 110.116, and Folkor Warrior storms the field to go fastest. Jar Jar Bing goes 6th quickest as well. Good effort from the Red Bull, 111.0. Here comes Prez in the Aston Martin, and it will be a top 6 also for Prezi. It's a 110.9, kick-starting his qualifying session. Some very quick times being posted early doors. Geldy goes into the top 4 as well, 110.514. So very impressive pace there in the Aston Martin, as Algerie will very soon start an lap, and DD Friend just heading into the back end of Sector 1 at the moment. It's a 26.558 for his Sector 1 split. But Mr. Poem is on a push lap again here, so let's see what he can do. He is going quicker, and he goes second fastest ahead of Hazer. It's a 110.249, and it's just over a tenth away from the Ferrari, who is currently heading the field. Let's go back down then towards DD Friend, not actually on a push lap here, so not using any of his battery, keeping it in reserve potentially for the next lap, but most drivers have done their first runs. I Am Batman also going back around, potentially going again, but he does seem to be going quite slowly. So him and the Red Bull of Jar Jar Bing will both head into the pits. Hazer does tend to do another lap, so he will be going again, as we do tend to see. And DD Friend does go P11 again, not a hot lap. A 117.3, certainly not a hot lap. It's a bit like a cool down lap really. And Boss Jan also continuing out for another lap. That should calm it down just a little bit. We'll see. We'll stick with Hazer then on his onboard, as our Shadow also starting a lap in the Alfa Romeo. DD Friend still out in that McLaren as well. So continuing through the grid then, we have got in the McLaren I Am Batman and DD Friend. See what they could both do. Probably both would naturally be in a quicker car. So both from tier 3, let's see what they can do in a McLaren. It's because they were later sort of sign-ups for this evening's race. As Hazer goes 2/10 faster through the sector 2 split, he is on course to potentially go P1. In the Aston Martin, Prez and Geldy, we've just seen what Geldy could do, and also Prez is about 4/10 away from him at the moment, so the Aston Martin's looking competitive this evening. As Hazer does go quickest and a first driver to set sub 1:10. It's a 1:09.807 from Hazer. And Didi Friend in the McLaren goes an impressive 5th fastest. And here comes Bosjan, who also goes into the top 4 himself, a 1:10.294, just behind Mr. Poem. So again, a good effort from the Haas there. Not too far away from Hazer at the early stages of qualifying here. He's within half a second. Let's drop it down if we can towards Shadow across the line. He will go only P13, but again, not a hot lap for him. Think, unless Devsey maybe. Yeah, Sergeant Devsey's on a lap. Continuing through the field grid then, it's the Alpine, and it is going to be Coffee, the lone Alpine, in fact, for this evening. And Devsey to the line, goes 9th fastest himself. And let's see, Alger at the moment just finished the lap rather, and Shadow still continuing round. So we'll stick with the Alfa Romeo then in Sector 2. In the Williams, it will be Merck alongside Rusted Bolt. Merck trying to chase down that title. In all fairness, as is Rusted Bolt as well. I do believe they are 2nd and 3rd in the championship at the moment, although they are quite a long way away from Hazer, who is dominating the field. In the Alfa Romeo, the lone Alfa Romeo will be Shadow. And again, we are watching him here with his onboard. In the Haas is Lynx alongside Boss Jan. Yes, again, you're going down to these tier 1 drivers, seeing what their overall pace is in those slower cars. And in the AlphaTauri, last of all, it will be Hazer alongside Mr. Poem. Both in the top 3 as Shadow goes 9th fastest and is currently about 8/10 off the pace. Let's drop it towards the Ferrari of Angry Badger, about to set his first run here. And it will be a 1:10.0 to go 2nd fastest for Angry Badger. Remarkable effort here. And there you go. Doug goes into the top 5, a 1:10.118, just behind Volcon. Rusted Bolt goes only P11. It's a 1:10.6 for Bolt then. Not quite bolting his way to the line, but it's a respectable position here. And Jar Jar Bing not improving on his current time. And I Am Batman does remain P16, but is on another hot lap. His 2nd hot lap of the evening. 9 minutes to go in qualifying. And let's remember as well, Zandvoort can be quite heavy when it comes to fuel consumption. So anybody watching this thinking about under-fueling, you best hope they're safety cars, otherwise you will be in deep, deep trouble, as I Am Batman is improving by 1.5 of a second through the Sector 1 split. Yellow flags currently through Sector 3, I do imagine. Yeah, that's likely due to a lack of fuel, but Hazer is improving here. Coffee also did go 2nd fastest. We did unfortunately miss that from the Alpine. Great effort from him. Apparently Hazer was improving, but either way he goes back into the pit. I think he knows he's got plenty more time to find here, given that he could improve on much older tyres there. 4 laps old tyres, and yet he could still improve. But anyways, each of those in the top 6, in fact, each of those in the top 10, now on track, bar Bosjan, who's on an outlap. Rusted Bolt not on a push lap. And what about I Am Batman? Just to the line now and goes into the top 14. It's a 1:10.992. Going a sub 1:11 now for the McLaren driver. And we get the first opportunity to see the pace of UFRL Merck in the Williams this evening as well. And let's see what he can do here on the run through into the Sector 1 split. Down at turn 6, of course, 24.499 for Merck, showing up as a purple Sector 1 as well. Let's see if this will be a competitive time then from the high-flying Williams in his attempt to battle and fare well with Hazer this evening, potentially at the front of the field. So Mr. Pound currently in P6, I mean, give it again, it's in the AlphaTauri. He's done a good effort to get in that position, you know. And Merck is quickest then, apparently again through Sector 2. And we'll see if that is genuine in terms of the potentially quickest drivers. You know what, it's kind of making me wonder, is the AlphaTauri genuinely the slowest car? Anyways, let's see what Merck does anyway. Across the line, it's a 1:10.4, does go P9. Mr. Poem, though, doing well in P6, I've got to say. Good lap time. 1:10.2, and Hazer can probably go quicker. I wonder what the pace would be like if they were in, say, a Haas. I mean, obviously, Mr. Poem has driven a Haas, he's driven the Alfa Romeo, he's now driven the AlphaTauri for the first time in these races. Whereas Hazer has been in the AlphaTauri pretty much since the start of the season. So he's done well to get himself where he is. Link's Peace currently on a hot lap as well, and Algerie further back is improving. But we'll stick with the Haas of Link's Peace, I believe. We'll just check if there's any improvements to be made. Russell Bolt did also go 7th fastest, so a good effort from the Williams to push himself up there. Link's Peace goes 11th fastest, and a dead-on 1:10.500 flat. Shadow just starting his lap into turn 1 as well, and the other Haas of Bosjan is improving, so he could be potentially looking at a sub 1:10 potentially, and he doesn't quite make it there, but he does go onto the second row. Third fastest for FGE Bosjan, it's a 1:10.044, and Angry Badger starts his lap currently in P4. He's got a good chance, you know, of pushing the likes of Hazer and Coffey. The Dutchman is right up there in the field at the moment. Just trying to wait for those yellow flags to disappear. We've got about 5.5 minutes remaining here in qualifying. Mr. Poem just taking it easy on an outlap effectively, as there is an improvement. And the improvement was, sorry, from Prezi Prez, who does go 9th quickest, a 1:10.316 for Prezi. So the two Aston Martins are still looking pretty competitive. Geldy, I'm sure, will improve, but it is a close grid. As you can see, not too much time between all the drivers here. In fact, through the whole grid at the moment, it's only 1.2 seconds. And through, well, you can go all the way down to Geldy, really. 0.7 of a second from Hazer down to Geldy in P15. Shadow does improve and goes into the top 10 with a 1:10.415. DD Friend currently in P11, as those further down the field, apart from Devsey, are all in the pit lane. I am Batman now, in fact, just heading out in the McLaren. So you've got Coffee out on track. Bosjan just heading round to start his lap. Angry Badger not improving on his previous run, a 1:10.049. He did lose quite a bit of time in comparison to that, so we do expect the Ferrari to head straight into the pits, unless he doesn't have enough time. But 4 minutes to go. I do think realistically you should have enough time to get into the pits and get out and do one more hot lap. Maybe turn off the battery though, just in case. But either way, Mr. Poem now not improving through the Sector 2 splits. He might think about an instant pit lane entrance here, because if he's not going to improve for the Sector 2 split, unless he finds time through into the final bend at turns 13 and 14, he's surely got to think about making that pit stop. And there you go. He more than thinks about it, it's fair to suggest. Prezi Prez taking a trip to the grass, thinking he might be sunbathing. It's going very, very cautiously. He does really need to get out onto that track, you know. Go now, go now, go now, go now, go now, go now. Oh, he's taking a bit of time here. He's really being caught. Oh, whoa! Wow. Yeah, he just took too long, really. He's going to get disqualified if he kept at that rate, but yeah, it just took him too long. And as a result, Bosjan has had to go into the pits. I think realistically he probably wasn't going on a lap, to be fair to him, so it might not really impact him. Coffey is also improving. This is one to watch here. He could snatch pole away from Hazer. It may be temporary, but he can potentially grab that pole position. Sergeant Devsey, sub 1:10. He goes third fastest. Great time from the Red Bull, potentially a tier 2 driver. At this rate, Coffey does go quickest. It's a 1:09.709. He's a 10th up on Hazer, and that is a new time to beat from the Alpine this evening. Let's go down towards the McLaren of I Am Batman. He is improving by just over 2.5 tenths of a second. Can he get higher than provisional P17? the likes of Geldy, Lynx, Merc down the order as well. Algary, DD Friend and Shadow all in the 110-4, 110-5 region. And it is a 110-5 from Iron Batman, but sadly for him, he does remain in P17, but much closer to the Aston Martin of Geldy, who was still in the pits. In fact, he is now coming out on track. 2 minutes to go in qualifying, and it is all or nothing. Rusted Bolt is improving and goes onto the second row. A 110.002 from the Lithuanian Rusted Bolt. And it is a good effort. 4th place for the Williams then, and also the Mercedes of Doug. Just starting his lap. He did improve on his last run by 4 tenths. Can he find a similar improvement to take pole in that Mercedes? He's been very much improving this season, especially in that Tier 2. Oh, really impressive pace here. FGE Bosjan sadly doesn't seem like he's got enough time to go out. As Dempsey also taking a trip to the grass. Need to be careful with that. Again, you don't want to get disqualified. Coffee into the pits. Hazer on an outlap here. And let's go further up the field. Let's see who is on a lap. Mr. Poem is not. Doug is on that lap, of course, but not improving through the Sector 1 split. Losing about a tenth of a second here is Doug. Trying to make sure that he is the only one out of that front field who was on a lap. I think the Red Bull is going quite slowly as well, and well, they're all squabbling for positions here. But the first driver who will finish a lap will be Doug in that Mercedes. So where can Doug go? Currently 8th fastest. Can he improve? No. No is the answer to that. Short and simple here. But Doug remains in P8. Sadly for him. And now we drop down the order as Geldy just starting his lap as well, and Jar Jar Bing also on a lap, so they're all pushing on for it. Again, Devsey going remarkably slowly here. Volkor Warrior into the pit. He will not improve. As now, I was trying to see if that was Hazer. Mr. Perm starting a lap. Hazer is just about to start a lap. When will the checkered flags be out? Sorry, voice gone for a moment. Checkered flags are out in 2, 1 and 0. Checkered flags are out. This is your time now. DD Friend goes 9th fastest, and he won't be able to go any faster than that. Links Peace to the line, and he will go into 3rd place. Great time from the Haas there. P3 for Links Peace, and he is the 4th driver to set a sub 1:10.0 here in this evening's qualifying efforts. Doug not improving. Of course, he did finish a lap last time around, and Mr. Poem, it was marginally improving through that Sector 1 split. We'll try and get to that. Oh, who else can we get to? I think Geldy to the line here goes into P12, a 1:10.304, competitive with his teammate. They couldn't be much closer. In fact, Merc as well was about to go to the line. And who else was that? That was another driver. Rusted Bolt goes 5th fastest, 1:10.0. And Merc, 1:10.2, goes into P10. Now, we have to watch the AlphaTauris. 2 drivers here pushing it out. Mr. Poem goes P10. But where does Hazer go? He is improving. Is he improving by enough time here? It's going to be close. We take it. Yes, he does. Hazer snatches pole at a death. And there you go. The AlphaTauri is on top once again, edging out the Dutchman Coffee. And Hazer is on pole position here by a tenth of a second. Very tight in the end, but he edges out the Dutchman. Links Peace and Dev C will be solid on that 2nd row. 3rd row for Rusted Bolt alongside Volkor Warrior. On the 4th row, Bosjan alongside Angry Badger. On the 5th row, it will be Doug and Mr. Poem. Not very often you'd expect to see them on the same row. 6th row will be Merc. Merc obviously has to be in there. DD Friend as well in P12. On the 7th row will be the 2 Aston Martins of Geldy and Prezi Prez. On the 8th row, it will be the Alfa Romeo of Shadow and the Mercedes of Algary. And the 9th row will be the McLaren of Batman. And last of all, the Red Bull of Jar Jar Bing. Interesting qualifying though. Of course, we will take a 5-minute break, much needed of course during these long spells, but we'll be back in a few minutes time and see what can happen in this race. But great effort there from Hazer to take pole again. And we are back, and it will be moments away here from seeing who will get a good start and lead into turn 1. Just waiting on the ticker to start. In fact, the ticker did not start at all. But we already get underway. Here we go. And it's lights out. And it's go, go, go. Good start of fun for Hazer, who runs away. Very nice and tidy. Into turn 1. Tight move there between Lynx and Coffee. Lynx edging his car ahead of the Alpine. The Dutchman missing out. And through goes Lynx Piece into second place now. And further down the field, through into the hairpin they go. It's Coffee, Bosjan, Volko. A little bit of a gap to the Ferrari. In fact, struggling at this moment in time, but it's looking good for Bosjan, who's putting the pressure on the Dutchman. Coffee for third place here, and further downwards the battles do continue, and we'll check on the tyre situation as well. And there you go, Falcon Warrior has opted for the soft tyres, the only driver, and yet he's the one who is losing touch now, 1.3 seconds away from this top 4. These 4 drivers are pushing on. That means the likes of Devsy and Doug, Angry Badger, they need to think about pushing on as well. And further down, battles are occurring here. Geldy, Mr. Poem going at it with DD Friend behind. Mr. Poem losing out here in the battle and losing out to Geldy. Geldy goes up to P11 and Bolt drops in behind. Merck potentially letting his teammate through there, but Merck is now up into 9th place. And also a threat there from Geldy. Looked at a place on Rusted Bolt, but stays in P11. Good battles going down then. Further down the field, going a bit wide there, Rusted Bolt, which gives Geldy the initiative, and Geldy storms through, and into the pit goes Mr. Poem. So it's an early pit stop for the AlphaTauri, and Volker Warriors out. What's happened there? It's a turn 1. Wait, what? He's out, but for no reason. His car is still moving. Well, he's retired on track. Volker Warrior has retired on track, for sure. Well, that's obviously going to result in a penalty for next week. I'm not sure why he's done that. Algary and Mr. Perm then into the pits. Mr. Perm did have to change his front wing. Algary seemingly did not have to. But yeah, interesting whatever's happened. Oh, Coffee has spun. And Coffee has gone for a spin in the Alpine there. He was battling with Bosjan. And now, hopefully his car gets into a good position. But, yeah. He's now having a squabble there out of Shadow, and also the 2 McLarens going at it over P10. And let's go towards this little battle between DD Friend and Iron Batman. Don't forget these 2 running in tier 3. And it does look like DD Friend goes through and sailing through, as well as Coffee, who's got himself a place back, following on from whatever happened there. But either way now, through goes Coffee then. And up into P11, and he will be trying to track down Rusted Bolt and DD Friend as Hazer takes Lynx into turn 1 for the race lead. Their 3-way battle very close here. And a McLaren of DD Friend as he's sailing past. Coffee tries to hold it. Bolt loses out. Coffee goes through into turn 1. And now on the exit, who gets the advantage to turn 2 and into turn 3? Down at the hairpin, it is Coffee who clears the park. And on he goes into P9. Through goes the Flying Dutchman. And can he catch up towards Angry Badger? That'll be his next target. Hazer and Lynx Peaston, they are going at it. A ding-dong battle with Bosjan just behind. It is currently a 3-way tussle for the lead of this race. Yellow flags for Algary in the Mercedes, but he is back up and running and spinning potentially. Rusted Bolt, but he has just lost the places. Lost a few places, in fact. He lost to DD Friend, he lost to Prez as well. Possibly Shadow as well, in fact. So he's lost 2 or 3 spots there, unfortunately, Rusted Bolt. And down to P13. Not the best of starts from him. It is a good start from his teammate, however. Merck up into P6 as Prez now. DD Friend dropping places. The McLaren has gone for a spin, and he's actually got front wing damage for DD Friend. Lost his end plate. So DD Friend will have to make his way into the pit lane. Let's go back up to the top 2 as they are trading places here. Lynx, Peace and Hazer trying to be smart about things. They know that Bosjan is just about hanging on there at 9/10 of a second. Can Bosjan keep pace with Lynx and Hazer at the front of the field? The rest of them are starting to have a few gaps, in fact. No DRS train currently being formed despite the close qualifying session. There are gaps being formed. All of the top 10 currently on the medium compound of tyre as well. So really, that gives the likes of Lynx, Hazer and Bosjan that chance to run away. And that does seem to be what they're doing. Bosjan again just hanging on by the skin of his teeth in P3 onto these top two drivers. Algary retiring in the pit lane. So that'll be one less opportunity of a safety car, potentially about 3 or 4 less opportunities of a safety car in fact. But either way, let's see what happens here in this battle between Lynx and Hazer. Does Hazer take it back or does Lynx hold it? Bosjan will try and stick with them still, but here comes Hazer on the run through to turn 1. They will go side by side here, but Lynx Beast does drop in behind and does not try and take a threat. And the Mercedes of Algary there, just ensuring that his retired car is hopefully nicely out of the way, so nobody will of course crash into it unless you had ghosting off. If you had ghosting off, well, first of all, you're a bit stupid to do that, and second of all, if you have ghosting off, somebody will crash into you, such as into Paul Ricard turn 1. But anyways, continuing with this battle here, Hazer and Lynx Piece. I think Hazer for now has just got an opportunity to stay ahead, but Bosjan has now caught back up nicely at half a second, so the top 3 running clear. But Doug and Dempsey, they're not really having a battle. Doug is looking comfortable there in P4, doing well in that Mercedes. Let's have a look how everybody's done in this race so far. Position changes, and as you can see, Hazer, pole sitter, currently race leader. Lynx Piece going from P3 up to P2. Bosjan up 4 places into P3, and Doug up 5 places into P4. And you got Dempsey losing a spot down to P5. Merck up 5 places here. What a start from him. Up to P6, and Geldy up 6 places and up into P7. Holding on to the 8th place is Angry Badger. Down 7 is Coffee. He's in P9. Of course, he did have that spin earlier on when he could have been battling with these 3 drivers here. Sadly, he's not anywhere near it anymore. And then up 5 is Shadow into the top 10. Up 3 is Prez. Up to P11, the Aston Martin. The 2 Aston Martins have had good starts. P12 for Jar Jar Bing. Up 6 places for Jar Jar Bing. Solid start from him, and up down 8 places is Rusted Bolt. It has been quite a traumatic start from the Williams. Down in 13th place. Down 4, Mr. Poem, who did have to make a pit stop. Yeah, he is seemingly catching up to Bolt here. Bolt is not enjoying this race so far. Down up 2 places rather is I Am Batman and McLaren, and then it is teammate DD Friend down 4 in P16. It's looking good here for Hazer, Lynx and Bosjan, but Doug, in all fairness to Doug, he is not that far behind. 1.8 seconds. Can he catch up to this trio in the race lead here? Oh, it's a virtual safety car. Angry Badger also received a 5-second penalty for a collision with Geldy. Do they both have wing damage potentially, or have they just decided that they need to make a pit stop? It is clearly wing damage from Geldy. No wing at all. Has Angry Badger got the same? Or Angry Badger? Yeah, they're both having to replace their front wings here, Geldy and Angry Badger. So, there you go. Let's see what tyres they have opted for. It is only a virtual safety car, not a full course safety car. So hard tyres for Geldy, medium tyres are on for Angry Badger, and don't forget Angry Badger also had to serve a 5-second penalty, which will drop him behind Mr. Poem now. Let's go back to these race leaders then. Hazer, Lynx and Bosjan at top 3. Doug still not that far behind the virtual safety car. It might be ending quite soon here. I will wait for that track map to go away from being yellow, and it will go green very soon. Jar Jar Bing receives a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car, so he is currently P10, but he will have to serve that drive-through penalty within 3 laps, or he will be disqualified from the race. But here comes Lynx, and here comes potentially Bosjan. The 2 has fly past Hazer into turn 1. They will be side by side, but Lynx Piece as the leader. Bosjan takes Hazer. Not the virtual safety car restart that Hazer needed, and through goes not just 1 but 2 Haas drivers. Remarkable scenes into turn 1, and this is only allowed, you know, for Doug to be 1.4 seconds away. He is catching up to this trio at the front of the field here. absolutely incredible. Can he do it by the end of lap 10, say? Just as a rough lap guide, can Doug catch up to this trio? Because he is catching them. There is no doubt about that. 1.5 seconds now. And the only way these three can really stay ahead, clear of Doug, Dempsey, and you've got Merck, who is not too far behind now, potentially looking to catch up. This trio are not remarkably quick right now. Is it that Doug is possibly using his resources, such as his battery and his tyres as well? Is he pushing too hard? Well, he's now 1.3 behind. These guys will get DRS bar Link's piece, of course. And does Hazer think to himself he has to take one of these drivers here? Do they both try and take Link's? Well, Bosjan certainly will. Hazer will stay in P3, but the two has are side by side. Again, it will give Doug the opportunity to close up here on this trio. Down to 1.4, that was after DRS, and through goes Links around the outside on Bosjan. Here comes Hazer, in comes Hazer, through goes Hazer, but Bosjan fights it back and fights it back well, and hold on to P2. But Doug, 1.1 second away now from the top three. He continues to close up whilst these three battle. I don't think Hazer wants to be battling too much at this point, but he has no choice because the Haas drivers are going to war. And into the pits goes Jar Jar Bing. Of course, he does have to serve that drive-through penalty, and I'm pretty sure that is all she wrote on that one. Down to P14. Only the two McLarens are behind Jar Jar Bing right now. Angry Badger trying to keep pace with Mr. Perm. In fact, he is doing it quite well in P13. But we have to stick with this. And here comes Doug Lowe. He is now within 7/10 of a second, and he does get DRS for the first time. Here, let's see what he can do, because he is right there with them. It is a four-way battle. And don't even rule out the Red Bull Sergeant Devsey, currently in P5. He is closing the gap. And here comes the two Haas again. A little bit of contact at the turn one. Bosjan does take Link's piece, but again, it will give Doug a chance to close up. It will give Devsey, it will give Merck chances to close up. And that is what they'll be doing if they keep battling. Algary leaves the session, and Mr. Perm and Angry Badger going at it again. And it looks like who is ahead at the moment. It's going to be very close, but Badger pulls clear. We're going to have to go to this battle here for the lead. This trio, Bosjan, Links and Hazer. Oh, a little bit of a move potentially from Links there. Thought he was going to have a look on Bosjan, holding behind. But this will give him the chance that he needs. But it's been remarkable. Doug's still right there as well. 4/10 of a second now, Doug. Make it 3/10. What a race he is having so far. He's right there with them. Devsey is pulled away from this quadruple of drivers, meaning Merck is able to catch up to the Red Bull 1.3 behind. It's certainly all about that top six right now, unless Coffee could do something about it. Shadow is having a little battle with him, with Prez and the Aston Martin, whilst Angry Badger and Mr. Poem continue to face battle for P12. Of course, Mr. Poem had to pit not too well early on in lap 1, or lap 2 rather. And here comes the two Haas drivers again. Links down here to Bosjan, who is ahead. It looks like Bosjan just edging his car ahead. These two are not playing a team game. Oh, Hazer, did he run into the back of the Haas? May have done there, but if he did, he may have caused himself wing damage potentially. It would have been remarkably close if there was any contact there. Shadow then looks like he's going to make a move on Prez, and he does indeed make the move. That's quite an impressive battle there, actually, because he done that heading into the hairpin. Good move there, down into the hairpin at turn 4. Shadow then is up into P8. Prez having another look at the Alfa Romeo. Does he have a look to go past him? I think he'll just hold him behind. So the Alfa Romeo now up into 8th place. We'll go back up then to the race leaders again. Can't really have looks further away from them because these are the ones to watch. Merck is almost within DRS range of Sergeant Devsey for P5 as well. So we will watch out for that one. Merck could be about to take the Red Bull and make his way into the top 5. But we will stick with this battle between this quadruple of drivers. Formerly a trio, now a quadruple. And will it be a 5-way battle in not too long? Let's see. But Link's piece does this time stay behind Bosjan. Hazer and Doug also following suit. I think Doug's just happy to be there. He'll be delighted to be involved with Hazer, Links and Bosjan in a top 4, no doubt about it. I would as well. If I was in Doug's position, I'd be delighted to be anywhere near that top 3. And you do expect potentially on this lap, possibly going into lap 13, could be the chance that Merck needs to get through on Sergeant Devsey. They are putting away as well from UFRL Coffee in the Alpine, but it looks like it is Merck's chance for some glory. Surely he's going to have to make that move on Sergeant Devsey. When he make the move out of turn 10 into turn 11, it does look like he's just a little bit too far back here to attempt the overtake, but he will of course get DRS on the run down into turn 1, which is what we'll wait on for UFRL Merck. Surely he will go for that overtake. He can't be hanging back behind the Red Bull. He is surely going quicker right now, and this should be his chance. But we'll quickly go to the leaders though, because will they play battle once more to turn 1, as a Lynx piece does this time sail past Bosjan. Bosjan doesn't fight it too much, and indeed Merck does take Sergeant Devsey, and up into 5th place goes the Williams now. Great race really for Merck, given that he did start down the order. Let's see, he's gained 6 places, the joint highest here, as Prezi Press retake a shadow. They are squabbling on the exit of turn 1 in fact. These two not making a miss into turns 2 and 3. Close there. Remarkably close to turn 4 now at a hairpin. I think Prezi Press just ahead of Shadow, but only just. Let's go back then towards this front pack then, as Merck now 3.5 seconds away. Can he catch up to this front group by say lap 17, lap 18? That may be a target for him at the pace he is currently going at. But he doesn't want Devsey to get back through on him, and Devsey is keeping pace here with Merck at about half a second. But let's stick here with this top 4. Lynx, Bosjan, Hazer and Doug. I mean, Hazer will know that these two, Lynx and Bosjan, have to pit at different times. They can't pit at the same time unless it's a safety car. If they do pit under the safety car at the same time, one driver will lose both of these places. That will be Bosjan right now. So you need to be the leader, hash driver, especially if a safety car comes out. If you're not, you're in a bit of trouble and you're losing places, as Hazer goes a little bit deep on the run into the hairpin at turn 4. But let's see what happens. Merck did hold on to P5 ahead of Sergeant Devsey. Down to 3 seconds now, the gap to the top 4. He is continuing to close up. But is he closing up quickly enough, given that these 4 drivers will all get DRS here as well? But it's not looking as neat and tidy as lap trio, particularly you would imagine Hazer, but also both Lynx and Bosjan. It's not looking as comfortable and comprehensive as what they've been used to. Certainly Hazer in the 100% tier this season. He did obviously have a struggle at Silverstone, but he managed to recover since then. But the overall pace doesn't seem particularly strong here. Obviously the fact that Doug's been able to join back in and Merck is a potential chance for him, and Devsey, those two could also catch up to this. It could be a 6-way battle in a few laps time if Merck and Devsey can catch up with their DRS games. But you need the hash drivers. They need to start squabbling a bit more into turn 1. If they do start doing that like they have been, same with Hazer, then Merck and Devsey, why not? Why can they not catch up to this group? I really do think they can do it here. But yeah, surely it's all about what these guys can do, and you know, they're doing a great effort so far. But I think Doug, the fact that he was able to catch up, given how far behind he was originally, and Merck 2.7, 2.8 behind, he is catching his pack, not quickly, not at a rate of knots, but he's still catching them, and Devsey can pull on as well. He can pull alongside potentially, staying in DRS range, which he's doing well to do at 0.7 of a second right now. He doesn't want to lose that DRS though from UFRL Merck, which is starting to get to a point when it is a little bit close. But Devsey does get DRS once again, so the Red Bull just holding it in there with UFRL Merck, as Hazer putting out the slipstream, trying to keep his engine temperatures cool. That's what you need to do really. You don't want to go much higher than 130 degrees Celsius. After that, you will be losing engine performance, which of course is related to your power. So yeah, you don't want to be losing anything more than that. You don't want to go higher than 130 degrees, or you might be in a little bit of trouble, potentially down the straights in particular. And with that dirty air from the drivers ahead, I mean, Link's piece right now will be okay. He's not getting the dirty air, but the likes of Bosjan, Hazer, Doug, these guys will be getting that dirty air. And, you know, certainly for Hazer and Doug, they'll be getting more dirty air as well. By the fact there's not just one, but there's also 2 cars up the field. But yeah, let's see what happens then. As Merck, 3 seconds behind, he's not really catching them now, is he? He's just not catching as quickly as I'd hoped to. He's not far off. He's not far off at all. At 2.7, 2.6 behind now. But again, these 4 drivers, apart from Lynx, will all get DRS here. So does Bosjan go for the move? 2 tenths behind. This could be close, but he doesn't go for it. Oh, a little bit wide there went the Mercedes of Doug. So he's 6 tenths behind, but he will have to try and do what he can to catch back up. Make sure he stays within DRS range. When will they make their first pit stops as well? These 4 drivers plus Merck plus Devsey. That is your 6-way battle effectively. If Merck and Devsey can get back in DRS range here. But I do wonder if the Haas drivers have said enough battling now, enough squabbling. We cannot allow for 1 or 2 more drivers to catch back up. It has to remain at most a 4-way battle. That may be what the Haas drivers are thinking now. Because they have not been squabbling into turn 1 or in sector 1 for much now in the recent laps. They were doing it in and around that virtual safety car period, when of course both drivers made the overtake on Hazer. But since then, you haven't seen, well, since a few laps after that, you hadn't seen them going side by side too often. Anyways, let's see here. I do imagine it will be a relatively easy move for Bosjan. But what about Hazer? He's going in for the kill. Into turn 1. It's incredibly close between Hazer and Link's piece. They are going side by side, which again will likely potentially bring Merck into it. Merck is struggling to keep Devsey behind. Devsey was catching him, but not making the move there. Coffee losing out to Prezi Prez. It's the hard tyres working better now than the mediums as the Aston Martin makes its way up into 7th place. Not too long ago, Prezi Prez was having that battle with Shadow, and the Alfa Romeo has dropped back from that battle. So Prezi now up into the top 7, making that move on UFRL Coffee. But the 2 Haas drivers just edging ahead of Hazer at the moment. Hazer was catching Link's piece very quickly there into turn 1, didn't go for the overtake, which makes sense of course. And let's stick here as Sergeant Devsey is also not too far away from Merck at this stage of the race. But yeah, Merck, I think he's not catching up unless he makes an undercut. He might need to do that. An undercut may be what Merck needs to think about here. Such Devsey does make the move on to him into turn 1, and up into 5th place now goes Sergeant Devsey. But Bosjan, Lynx, Hazer and Doug still remaining hand in hand in that top 4, not making the big moves at the moment. They know they have got plenty of time in this race to make these moves, to make the crucial pit strategies as well. Doug still just hanging in there, but he does momentarily lose out, but then he catches back up relatively swiftly. And UFR Merck still behind Sergeant Devsey. Of course, he was overtaken into turn 1 as well. Apart from that, no other battles from what I'm seeing. Jar Jar Bing is on fresh medium tyres now in the Red Bull. I do believe the Red Bull was also behind the pack of Devsey and Merck. He is now a lap down in the form of Jar Jar Bing. Next up will be I Am Batman in the McLaren. Oh, let's see here as Doug is going for the move. Doug is up into 3rd place. He has had enough of staying behind Hazer. He has gone up into 3rd place. So Doug making that move on the AlphaTauri, and Hazer is down into 4th place now. You wouldn't have thought Hazer, having started on pole, will be down to P4 on a legitimate same tyre strategy as Lowe's in the top 3. But there you go, that is what has happened here. It's still very close though between those 4 drivers. But Doug has made the move on Hazer and is up into 3rd place. Does he have enough battery though, Doug, to keep pace with these Haas drivers? I mean, right now, it looks like he does, but I do imagine Hazer has a lot of battery spare, and he won't be letting Doug get away with it too much if Doug loses DRS at any stage to these Haas drivers. Because Hazer knows he has to stay within DRS range of that front pack, which at the moment is this 4-way battle. But Dempsey and Merck, in all truth, they are not that far behind, and who knows, if the Haas drivers do go squabbling into turn 1, which they could very well do here, but Link's piece does make the move on Bosjan, so no squabbling into turn 1 in fact. And who knows, any form of contact, anything at all, and it will give the likes of Merck and Dempsey a chance. Dempsey was flashing on his red light there, so he's ran out of battery, and into the pits goes UFRL Coffee as well. So he gets rid of his medium tyres. 20 laps completed on those tyres, and he's on to a fresh set of the hard compounder tyre now. He will come out behind both Angry Badger and Geldy, and he's out in P11. Still no full course safety car. We've had a virtual safety car earlier in the race, and now let's see if will Doug try and make a move here on one of the Haas drivers. Again, he had enough behind AlphaTauri of Hazer. Will he have enough behind the Haas of Bosjan or Link's Peace? That has to be the next question. To be fair to Merck now, 2.4 seconds behind Hazer. He is catching up. Sergeant Devsey maybe not applying as much pressure as what he was. Again, he has no battery to really fight with now, Devsey. Is that giving Merck that confidence of saying, you know what, I can really push these guys. I can push for a good place here. Maybe knowing that he doesn't have to think about Devsey so much. It's given Merck that chance to catch up to this front 4. Could call them the Fantastic Four. They may not be making a movie, but you know. Let's see then what Hazer's going to do at the back of the pack now as well. Hazer, I'm sure he doesn't really want to be at the back of the pack, but that is unfortunately where he's found himself. He was leading the pack, but that was quite a long time ago now for the single digit in terms of lap number, as Shadow has left the session. Sorry? You should be able to join off me anyways. Coffee also has left. It's a bit weird. Both Coffee and Shadow have left. They should both be able to join directly off me. I am online on Xbox as well, so now they should be able to rejoin on me. Or anybody really in this lobby. There's quite a few they could choose from. Normally what I do is join on whoever's the highest person on my list, which normally, I mean, if DD Friend's in the lobby, it could be him. I could go all the way down to Mr. Poem. Brewdog's normally fairly, is he normally high up? I don't think he is actually. Hazer's normally quite high up, so if I need to join off someone, I can join off Hazer's, for example. But yeah, that's how I normally go by it. Again, it looks incredibly close going into turn 4 at the hairpin, but in truth, it's just the nature of the corner makes you go in so quickly. Like, it looks like you're going to make contact, especially in this broadcast view, but a lot of the time you don't. Angry Badger into the pits then, and he will be getting rid of his medium tyres, but he will drop down the order, unfortunately. I do believe somebody has rejoined. I'm not sure which one. Let me just double check, and it is Coffee, I think. Yeah, Coffee's back in, and Shadow will be back in very, very shortly. He's actually joined the lobby, so he just needs to take over from the car. And the way to know they've done it, by the way, is when you see the grid order right now. When there's a flash on that screen, you know somebody's got back into their car. That's how you know. So that's what I'm waiting for. As into the pits goes Hazer, and there you go. You see that flash? That was because Shadow is now back in his car, and I can prove that. There you go. Shadow is back into his car. Right. Things you learn whilst doing comms, eh? Literally, it's a small thing sometimes. It's the small things. Anyways, Merkland is trying the undercut, but Hayes is also into the pits as well. It's interesting though. Hayes is on hards, Merc is on mediums. Merc, be careful into that pit wall. Thankfully, he doesn't go into it. Yellow flags were shown momentarily. I do wonder if it's because of a lapped car, which I think maybe Jar Jar Bing. Yeah, indeed, Jar Jar Bing is the lapped car in that Red Bull. So sadly, he is down a lap to Merc, who has also made a pit stop now. But Merc's aim, surely, is to catch up to Bolt. Bolt didn't put the pressure on Hazer too much. Hazer now up to 5th place. I do wonder if Bolt is going to say, yeah, Merc, you can go through. You are my teammate. Or, Merc, no, I'm not letting you through. I know you're my teammate, but we're battling each other in a championship. Which one would it be for Russell Bolt? I'm sure he'll know that he can't fight too much, given he's on much older tyres here on his teammate. He might give Merc that DRS, you know, as well. And into the pits goes Bosjan, so both Lynx and Doug have stayed out. I mean, right now, I can only imagine this is favouring Hazer, by the fact that he's got a gap to the likes of Bolt and Merc, but Merc is not far behind. If Merc can make a move here, he's in the slipstream. Surely there's going to be no real pressure from Bolt, and now around turn 1, Merc goes through, and the gap to Hazer is only 1 second, and there is Bosjan as well. Merc is in DRS range of Hazer and Bosjan. That is a great stop, a great strategy for Merc. But are these guys now thinking to go hard to the end for Hazer and Bosjan, or is Merc going to think, nope, you're not going to be able to do that, you're going to have to make another stop, and therefore Merc may opt for softs or hards later in this race. But Merc's strategy right now seems to be pretty much on point when it comes to catching up then towards Hazer and Bosjan, and he is right there with them. Doug at the moment is almost out of DRS range. He's got to think about stopping now, surely. And there you go, straight into the pits goes Doug. I wonder what tyre he will go for. Let's go towards his battle again, because we want to see where Doug comes out in comparison to Hazer, Bosjan and Merc. Russell Bolt is a couple of seconds further back as well. And Doug is already coming out of the pits. This could be fairly close here. Let's see where Doug is. In fact, he's going to be quite a long way back actually, Doug. So he is ahead of Bolt, but he is about, well, he's more than a second, 2 seconds back now. He is on fresher tyres, but he's 2 seconds behind Hazer, Bosjan and Merc. And that group are now catching up to Prezi Prez, who is yet to pit. This could be critical in what happens in this race here. If Hazer gets through on Prezi quickly, whereas Bosjan and Merc cannot, that could bring Doug back into it, but also it will give Hazer a chance to run a bit further clear. So let's see what happens in respect to this trio, well, or quadruple of drivers, compared to Prezi Prez. Again, Prezi won't be able to fight too much on those older tyres, but we'll see what he has got to offer here. And into the pit goes the McLaren of I Am Batman. I think he had been lapped previously, he's still been lapped, and he will be more than a lap down on these guys, as here comes Hazer making the move on Prezi Prez. I think Prezi Prez actually, to be fair to him, he's not got involved at all. He's let them all through. Doug is a couple of seconds behind. He's got some work to do here. Lynx P staying out on his mediums. Is he thinking about a potential one-stop strategy here, Lynx? I mean, he will be having the fresher tyres compared to the likes of Hazer, Bosjan, Merc and Doug. But is that the right strategy to go for? A one-stop here? Or is he still thinking a two-stop? But maybe go for a different set of tyres. Maybe thinking about a soft tyre stint at some point in this race here. And into the pits also did go the AlphaTauri of Mr. Poem. He did say he liked the car in qualifying. I kind of wonder if he still feels that way in the race. Not certain he feels that's the same way, I'm not going to lie. Again, in quali, he might have enjoyed it. In the race, he might be thinking, wow, this car is a load of not very good things. Let's see then what can happen here. Doug is now all over the rear of Prezi Prez. He knows he has to make the move. And I don't think Prezi Prez can fight it too much here. And there you go, Doug does sail past. 2 lap old hard. He's going to have work to do if he wants to catch up to that field up ahead though, because he is 3 seconds behind, and that strategy of staying out for an extra couple of laps has not paid dividends to the race for Doug. Let's go back then. As into the pits goes Rusted Bolt onto a set of medium tyres then. And in P11 it seems like it's where he'll come out behind the Aston Martin of Geldy. Geldy yet to pit. Actually, he did pit, that was earlier on. Prezi Prez has yet to pit, as has your race leader Linked Peace in the Haas. And that gap now at 13 seconds between Lynx and Hazer. That gap continues to come down here. So let's see then, as we're going into turn 13, when a DRS will hit, and that will be for Bosjan and Merck. Merck has done well to get himself into this battle. Doug was the one who really lost out. Lynx Peace will definitely lose out, but maybe Doug is thinking, you know what, Lynx, if you pit quite soon, I can help, well, we can work together to catch up to this group again. Lynx Peace might be telling Doug a certain couple of words to that, but there you go. Lynx Peace, Bosjan, Hazer and Merck still going for this battle. I say Lynx Peace, don't know why I said Lynx Peace. He's 11.7 seconds clear, although, albeit, he still needs to pit, of course. Hazer, though, is the one putting that pressure on Bosjan. Bosjan, of course, just made the move on the AlphaTauri. He's done well. All of them have done well, in all fairness. I can't even say 1 or 2 of them. All 3 of them have done well to be where they are. And they are not letting Doug get within arm's length here now, as Doug is almost 4 seconds behind from this leading group. As I Am Batman takes Jar Jar Bing. Let's see what's happening here. Both of them are really struggling knowing what to do, because they are having to let every driver through. But it doesn't help in their race really. They're letting the Alfa Romeo through, and that would have been Shadow. So they've been lapped by everybody in the top 9, sadly for them. Geldy will be next. And here comes a move potentially from Hazer, but he settles in behind into turn 1. It keeps Bosjan ahead, and into the pits goes Prezi Prez in the Aston Martin. He gets rid of those hard tyres. He's got rid of his hard tyres, and yet Lynx Peace has stayed out on his current mediums, which have been on since the start of this race. 30 laps in, out 72. This is looking like a potential one-stop strategy from Lynx Peace, but would it work for him? Is the one-stop strategy genuinely a strategy that will really benefit him? I'm not certain, you know, because that gap will go down, but don't forget, when Lynx does pit, the gap will go back up, and then obviously after that the gap will go back down, so we'll have to see what can happen. But Bosjan is certainly the one leading this charge at the moment. Will go down as well. Prezi Prez is ahead of Bolt. Bolt is ahead of Geldy. So the 2 Aston Martins at the moment is where Rusted Bolt is battling, and Rusted Bolt is in an Aston Martin sandwich. Geldy won't be able to keep pace though, knowing he's on the older hard tyres. It's all down to Prezi Prez and Rusted Bolt, and Lynx Peace is finally into the pits then. He's coming out, but he is a long way back here from those top 4 drivers, but he is ahead of Devsey. So now he's on the hard tyres, and is he going to take those hards to the end, or would he think about a soft tyre stint? Either way, Lynx Peace out of the pit lane, and let's check on the gap. I think it must be about 9.5 seconds. And there you go, he is 10.6 to Bosjan, but it is about 9.5 seconds to Merck. So what can Lynx Peace do now? Should we go to the, if we stick with these 3, and put the gap to the leader, and just see if Lynx Peace is able to gain on them? Because don't forget, these 3 will be getting DRS apart from the leader, but then Lynx Peace will have the greater traction right now and the grip to really push. So let's see if Lynx Peace can gain time. And if he can, that could bring Doug back into it if they work together a little bit. Lynx may not want to. Doug certainly would be winning, I imagine. I can't see why he wouldn't want to work with Lynx to catch up to that top 3. As you can see on the map, look how far that Haas driver. The Haas driver at the moment is exiting out of turn 14. This trio are beyond turn 1. So currently they've got the entire straight at Zandvoort between them. And Link's Peace has lost a bit of time. He's 11.1 behind. Interesting call at the moment. He's just got to get those tyres heated up, especially the hards, which are more tricky. Once he gets them heated up, is he going to be in a position to close up to the pack? Russell Bolt fastest up at 112.789. But when is Link's Peace going to start catching up to this top 3 then? Certainly doesn't look like it right now, but he will at some point be pretty quick compared to them. Let's go down as well, because Devsey and Coffee are separated by about 6 or 7 tenths of a second. Devsey is on the better tyres, and they are also a little bit fresher by a couple of laps. We'll go back up then. Oh, as Merck is a second behind Hazer. Is he going to get DRS? I think he may just about pinch the DRS here. I've got to say, it doesn't really look like a second, but yeah, Merck is just there now. Just holding it in there, and Hazer not making the move on Bosjan into turn 1. Potentially happy with the Haas driver's pace here. They've all done well, Bosjan, Hazer and Merck to be there, but they're showing very good signs of pace here this evening. I've got to say, one thing that I'm not seeing happen, Link's Peace is not closing up really. 10.6 seconds to Bosjan. Link's Peace is not gaining much here. He is not gaining a lot. We have lost 2 drivers in the race, Algary and Volkor Warrior, but that was earlier in the event. Algary retired in the pit lane. Volkor, I don't believe it was him. I think it was his AI who retired on track. But sadly, that is what happened. Unless I was incorrect, unless it was him. But from what I saw, it may have been the AI. But yeah, it's certainly looking interesting here between Bosjan, Hazer and Merck. And now running down into turn 1 again. It's looking pretty good for that trio. Link's 10.5 behind, not 1.5, 10.5 behind. So he's got a bit of time now, 6 seconds behind Doug as well. He's on 5 lap fresher tyres compared to Doug, 6 laps compared to Bosjan, 7 laps compared to Hazer and Merck here is Link's Peace. But again, he is slowly finding a bit of time, but it's not like it's particularly rapid at this moment in time. 10.3, 10.2 behind now. But yeah, certainly not making rapid inroads here, Link's Peace, but 10 seconds, and now he's within 10 seconds, 9.9, but the gap has opened back up to 10. We have to keep watch of that battle though when Link's Peace is starting to catch up, but we will keep the on board here between Bosjan, Hazer and Merck, whilst no other battles are, well, comprehending themselves, apart from potentially Devsey and Coffee. Coffee on a couple of laps older tyres. And that is a battle for P6. Oh, Mr. Perm's out. And that is a safety car. The first safety car has been brought out into the hairpin at turn 4. Maybe now we might say the Avatar is not as good as what Quaddy makes it seem to be. We have a full course safety car. And into the pits goes Doug. And he's onto a fresh set of medium tyres here. This is going to be interesting. What do drivers do? Do you all pit? Do you all stay out? Could you go mediums to the end? Could you go hards to the end? If anybody's pitting for hards right now, they could take them to the end here. Sergeant Devsey, well, he's the first driver to do that. He's on fresh hards and maybe going to the end. This could really, unfortunately, kill the race for Link's Peace as well. So there will be a few more drivers, I'm sure, making a pit stop, but how about any of those in the top 4 or 5? Especially 3. Sergeant Devsey, drive-through penalty, speeding under the safety car. He's currently in P7, so sadly, he's not going to stay P7 for much longer. He was having a pretty good race up until that point as well. What do these guys do? And they all go into the pit. A bit of a late move, I have to say, from Hazer there. We did spot that one. Have to be careful with those late moves, because if you do it too late, the driver behind is going to struggle to react to it. Could have been a bit dangerous there. A bit naughty, really, from Hazer. I know he was only reacting to Bosjan. Merck did seem like he was going to pit no matter what anyway. Which, for me, it was quite an obvious thing to pit, surely. Unless you're Coffee. If you're Coffee, you're probably thinking, yeah, don't pit. So who's been lapped here? DD Friend has not been lapped. He's on the lead lap now. So he could go past that safety car. The game lets him through. And DD Friend has not been lapped. So it's only Batman and Jar Jar Binks who have been lapped here. And this will give everybody that chance to catch back up. And into the pits also goes Rusted Bolt. So you going, what set of tyres would he go for? Softs. So he is changing his wing as well. Did he get front wing damage under the safety car? Either way, he is coming out now, and he is going to stay P11 on fresh softs. Not sure on the strategy from Coffee though to stay out on those hard tyres. 15 laps old for Coffee, and that's a considerable length of time. 15 laps to stay out compared to fresh tyres. I know he done a similar strategy in the international tier, which did kind of work for him in the end. But I don't know. I mean, we've got an entire half the race remaining, which is a full 50% race distance, effectively. And yeah, that is pretty much where we're at right now. It's basically a 50% race distance now until the end, and it is going to be what is seemingly a standing start. So that is where we're at, really. But as you can see, hopefully all the drivers are able to catch up to the back of the field. I know I am Batman and Jar Jar Binks, sadly for them. Oh, it's Jar Jar Binks, where's he at? Oh, he's only into turn 1. Yeah, he's a long way back. I am Batman is ahead of, I do believe, Link's Piece. It's a bit of a shame those drivers in the lead don't go off track to let these guys through though. That would have been obviously a nice thing to do, really. But I don't know, they'll all get the message. Like, I do imagine Doug probably would, Merck would, Hazer would, but I don't know. Bosjan, for instance, I don't know what he's like in that respect. I don't know if he would. Coffee as well, I don't really know. Not seen him in that situation. He might know, to be fair, he might know. He might see what's going on. But the bad thing is, let's say if Doug did do it, and then Merck did it, and then Hazer maybe did it, but then what if Bosjan doesn't do it? That's the problem. I do sort of think there should be a mechanic in the game though to say lapped cars should be allowed to overtake. And they should actually be ghosted. Let them be ghosted and let them overtake all the other cars. Let them go through them even. They go straight through them, ghosted as well, and then let them overtake the safety car. For me, that would be the better way for the game to do it, really. Do kind of feel for Batman and Jar Jar Binks here because they are in no position to battle now. That's DD Friend is catching up. I think we'll get one more lap under the safety car. But yeah, sadly for Batman and Jar Jar Binks, they're in no position to make moves here. Again, a bit of a shame that none of those drivers have let either Batman or Jar Jar through, from what I've seen. It would have been far more beneficial if they had said, you know what, your lapped car will let you go through, I'll go off track. But that doesn't seem to be what's happening here. That's the only way it will be allowed to do. If they go off track, it's the only way you'll be allowed to overtake. If you don't go off track, then you're not allowed to overtake, of course. So there you go. But again, it is really a fault from the game. The game should be able to allow it to happen. We're in 2024 and it still hasn't been fixed, effectively. Right, safety car is in this lap, as we'd expect then. But yeah, I do feel bad for I Am Batman and Jar Jar being down the order. Haven't been lapped, but we'll have to go to the front. Coffee is going to be struggling on those tyres. 17 laps on his hards. The only driver with more is Jar Jar Binks, 19 laps on his mediums. Batman has 11 laps on his mediums. But apart from that, everybody is on relatively fresh tyres, except for those 3 drivers. Coffee will get to choose when he wants to go. He might choose it as late as possible here, or he might go a bit earlier. He goes a little bit earlier, in fact. It does catch Bosjan off guard, but for how long? As the interval is on, it's going to be incredibly close there. As Hazer's looking for a move around the outside of Bosjan. Almost side by side there, Hazer trying to pull for the overtake. Shadow makes a move on Devsey. In fact, Devsey is dropping well down the field. Actually, he's only dropped down a couple of spots, in fact. He's having a squabble momentarily. We'll see what it's like at the moment with Devsey and Prez. As they're overtaking the lapped McLaren of Batman. I think, yeah, what Batman and Jar Jar need to do, they just need to drop to the back, really. Unfortunately, it's not what they want to do. But sadly, it will be the best thing for them as Badger goes off track. Angry Badger off track, and it does have Geldy on the inside there. And Angry Badger a little bit cautious, you'd like to say, particularly from Geldy to staying behind him, as now Bosjan has made a move on Coffee. Almost a three-way battle here as in comes Hazer. But Hazer does not go for the overtake, but he goes for it now! A super send! Down the inside goes Hazer. And he's made the overtake stick out of turn 12. Lovely move. And now it's all about Merc. Surely going to make the move here, as could Doug as well. The Coffee's going to use all that battery, but Doug, well, Merc has just got to make sure he's in a position here. As Coffee, in fact, is going for a potential move on Hazer, yeah, I was going to say. You can't really go for that. Merklo is drawing alongside Coffee here. Is he going to stick it out? He tries to. He tries to stick it out. It's a turn 4 at the hairpin. And down the inside goes Doug, but doesn't go for the overtake completely. Merc knows he's just losing time here on Coffee, but will he go for the overtake? With both Doug and Link's Piece waiting in the rings here. Doug goes a little bit wide as well. And there could be a chance here. Down the inside goes Link's Piece. I think he's gone for the move, and he's got the move done. Link's up into 5th place now. Merc still behind Coffee. Can't get the move done. Coffee will be burning all of his battery. I think Merc will fully know this. And he will understand what what Coffee is doing. He is using all of that battery. But Bosjan and Hazer now are running away, which is kind of what we wondered could have happened here. Surely now there's no defending from Coffee because Merc does sail through. And there you go, Merc is up into 3rd place, but he's got to do something to catch up now. As also down the inside goes Link's Piece on Coffee. Has he made a move here? Or can Coffee fight it back? They are going to make a little bit of contact. And through goes Link's Piece up into 4th place. And Doug now knows he needs to make this move. And I think he's going for it. Doug is going to go for it, but he has to settle in behind now. It's all about that top 2 though. Bosjan leading Hazer 2.5 tenths of a second. But Merc, Lynx and potentially Doug now. Can Doug make this move on UFRL Coffee? He could look for it down the inside, but again he holds in behind. He knows he doesn't have too much time here, Doug, to go for this overtake. But he is going to find it quite tricky, but this could be the place to go for it here. Let's see if he does make the move into turn 11 or not. Nope, he doesn't. He'll stay behind again. This will just lose Doug a lot of time to those in the top 4 now. Again, they always seem to gain that time on the exit of turns 13 and 14. And here we go, he does make the move on Coffee. Coffee drops into P6 now. So Doug up into the top 5. Coffee is just making a nuisance of himself, effectively. A name for himself, as you could say. Geldy is into the pits, getting rid of those medium compounder tyres then. And Geldy has actually, in fact, retired in the pit lane. Let's go back up to leaders then. Bosjan and Hazer still squabbling away. It's for the race lead, don't forget. And Link's piece is all over Merck as well at 0.3 of a second. Doug is not that far behind. 1 second. Can he stay within DRS range of this battle for P3? Coffee is trying to hold up Shadow, Bolt, Prezi, Angry Badger and DD Friend as well. Deficit, I do believe, had to serve a drive-through penalty as well. So let's see what can happen here then. Should we drop down, in fact? Let's go towards Lynx as he's all over Merck. Doug is still there. He's done well. 0.6 of a second behind, but Doug is in the battle. I do wonder if Doug could have potentially fought to stay out for a lap longer as well. Because he pitted straight away. Could he have waited another lap? Probably could have done. Either way, down the inside goes Link's piece, and he does make the move on Merck. Merck could be wise here to let him through, really. And he does. So Link's piece is up now. And Link's could be the one to close this gap to the top 2. Let's see if that happens. See further down as well. Shadow has made the overtake on Coffee. This could be the chance for Prezi Prez now. Again, he just cannot make it happen. But this will be a chance for him as well. So let's see what he could do on the exit of turn 10 then. Can Prezi Prez get the overtake on Coffee? DRS has been enabled, I do believe. So he does get DRS, but still not enough power to get himself the move done. So Prezi has to remain in P9. Coffee has to be thinking about that pit stop, surely. How long until Coffee gets rid of his whole old hard tyres here? Because he is not in a position to fight too much here. And he surely would have been wiser to stay, or to make a pit stop as making moves now. Prezi Prez. Oh, Coffee! Spin! Collision! Prezi Prez and Coffee. DD Friend also further back. But a collision there between Prezi Prez and UFRL Coffee. So any damage on the Aston Martin doesn't look like it. Coffee, however, unfortunately for him, he does have end plate damage, and that will be a pit stop to be made for the Alpine then. Let's go towards the race leaders. Hayes, Bosjan, Lynx, Merck and Doug. They've all caught up there. So clearly Lynx going for the move on Merck was correct. And the likes of Merck and Doug have now been able to help themselves in closing up the pack. So it's a 5-way battle. It's not quite what we were earlier on in the race, but it's near enough, and it's probably even better. So Hazer leading the 2 hash drivers of Bosjan and Lynx Piece, who heads to Williams of Merck, who takes over from the Mercedes of Doug in that battle, in that top 5. It doesn't look like Shadow or Bolt are going to catch up as well. But Bolt is making a move round the outside on Shadow and up into P6, but he is on soft tyres as well, Rusted Bolt. Can he make those soft tyres work to catch up potentially to these drivers? So DD Friend, yeah, it did look like it, didn't it? Just lacking on the grip side of things. Didn't quite have the traction really to compete there. But there was definitely contact between himself and Prezi Prez. It will be interesting to have another look at it. But either way, sadly for Coffee, he's going down the order. And he is into the pit and changing that wing as well. What tyres? Showing that he's on mediums, 20 laps. Hopefully that's not true. When it said used mediums, is that the reason why? Yeah, he's retired. Ooh. Did he retire in the pit lane though? That would have been close, you know. That would have been very close there from Coffee. I think he may have just about retired in the pits. Only just though, because that can bring out a safety car. Lost the back end of turn 4. She threw me into the wall. Not liking the AlphaTauri so much during the race then, eh? Doug, they're making a move on Merck and up into 4th place now goes Doug. Been a good race though from the Mercedes here, Doug. Merck as well has done well to be where he is in the top 5. The 2 Haas drivers competing well with Hazer. Our top 5 have probably been the best 5 drivers in this race, in all fairness. That's Angry Badger, 1:11.7 for the fastest lap in the Ferrari as well. But he's down in P9 on the Thresher soft tyres. Let's go back towards Bosjan and just see what can happen here in that top 5 group. Merck is just dropping back a little bit, but only momentarily. It was okay till my wing broke. Yeah.
I am stupid. I am stupid.
But, I mean, well, the car felt okay then, that's interesting. Now I'm more intrigued as to what the actual pace is between AlphaTauri, Haas, Alfa Romeo and Williams as well. I know it's close and obviously they have different characteristics as well. But yeah, it makes it more interesting, I think. Anyways, Bosjan does make the move. It's turn 1 on Hazer, up into the lead now. Doug staying ahead of Merck as well. Bolt is still 2... sorry, lost my voice again. 2 seconds behind Bolt. But again, I think he will have to pit. Not too long until Bolt needs to make a stop, really. With 11 laps on those soft tyres. I think she's track dependent. I think now with all of those bottom cars, to be fair... sometimes they perform better than others, in all truth. I mean, the AlphaTauri did seem to struggle at Silverstone, for instance. I still don't think any of these 5 drivers have been incredibly rapid, in all truth. I don't think... It's not like 1 or 2 of them have not had to come back. The likes of Doug and Merck have had to make comebacks in this race to catch up to that top 3. So the reality is, I don't think any of those 5, especially that top 3, I don't think they're particularly quick. They've just been very consistent. Whereas Doug and Merck have struggled to make the moves. And when Lynx did have the chance, he really did make it work. And that's why he made his way back up into 3rd place ahead of both Merck and Doug. So Lynx has done well since that safety car restart, gaining those 2 places. And also obviously the pace on Coffee as well. So he was P6, now P3. But yeah, I wouldn't say any of them have done an incredible job, really. Good call, that's demanding. Yeah, to be fair, it is. You are right. Yeah. It's always tricky to 100%. Personally, it's one of those that I do enjoy racing in. I would always enjoy racing 100%. But it would be quite demanding, for sure. Especially if you're not used to doing it that often and stuff. It's sad, you know, it doesn't matter that you're quicker, but that doesn't mean you have to hit someone while overtaking. The only 2 who didn't were Hazer and Bosjan. Yeah, send in the clips, mate, that's what I'd say. I did see on stream between you and Prezi. I didn't know exactly who was at fault at the time. I only got the one view, but we did sort of see it. So you could probably have another look on the stream in all fairness. But I'm sure you've got it clipped anyway. I've never done one, the car was yuck. Yeah, the Aston Martin, again, the characteristics can be a little bit challenging, but it is one of the quicker cars. The thing is, for me, I don't think it's as good as the McLaren, the Mercedes, or the Ferrari, and obviously the Red Bull was the quickest anyway. But yeah. It's always interesting trying to control the realistic cars, to be fair. But anyways, let's see here. Russell Boltlow has pulled himself in this battle now. It's a 6-way battle. Again, he's on softs. I do wonder if Merck has just hung back a little bit to give Bolt that chance to get DRS. Then again, has he got DRS? He does have DRS, but only just. Does it cost your wing? Yeah, I saw. You had 20 laps on those medium tyres. And then you just, I think, just about got to retire the car in the pits. But it was incredibly close. Sector 2 was like turning a tank. Ouch. Yeah, I mean, I suppose it will depend as well on setups as well. Taking into account a normal setup for a realistic car won't be as effective as a personalised setup. So, yeah. Alright, Douglas. But yeah, it was fun. No, it's good that it was fun though. Definitely. Opted for the new ones. I was so mad at this game. Wait, opted for new ones? What, mediums? Because I must have said it was used mediums left. And obviously I'm presuming new softs, right? That's a bit interesting, because it did give you those really old mediums. It wasn't lying. Oh, was that contact there between Doug and Lynx potentially? Doesn't look like anything too severe, but now Lynx losing a little bit of time. A couple of tenths to the leaders, but he'll get it back. It's Lynx piece, of course he'll get it back. Merck tried in a wide line into turn 4 as well. Didn't quite work for him, and Rusted Bolt 7 tenths away. But those soft tyres will surely die and fade away. Yeah, I had a set of new ones. Oh, you had a set of new ones? Yeah, it gave you tyres that were 20 laps old. Ah, what a smart game. The game is so smart, isn't it? So intelligent from the game to give you 20 lap old mediums over fresh mediums. That's what everybody wants. Everyone wants the older tyres. No doubt about it. Jar Jar Bing will tell you he'll be enjoying those 31 lap old medium tyres right now. I wonder if he's thinking about a pit stop. Probably not. 32 laps old now, so he's gone past the pit lane. Anyways, let's see here. If, of course, Doug did just lose out to Merck, but will he now make this opportunity here? Because Rusted Bolt's going for it. But into turn 1, Bolt just hangs in behind there on the Mercedes, so Doug stays ahead. Bolt also is out of battery. I just saw his red light flashing, pushing hard on those soft tyres. You can see how close they are. Nose to tail between the Merc and the Williams, but Doug just staying ahead. The gaps are being formed though, since Bosch, Jan and Hayes are starting to pull away. So Lynx, Peace, Merc, Doug now is outside of 1 second. These guys are struggling to stay in DRS range here. Well, it does look like Doug is the first one to lose out. Do they think about making a final stop? Or do they not? Merc at this moment in time is probably the one that I'm looking at thinking he can definitely go to the end. But it wouldn't shock me if all the others go to the end as well. Let's see what they do. Merc is the one right now who probably could take his tyres to the end. But how much time would he lose? You imagine a fair bit. Unless it's a safety car. Let's see anyways. Do any of them box this lap? No. Okay, yep, they do. Doug pits, as does Rusted Bolt. No, he doesn't. So Doug is in the box. Let's see what he can do. Does he go fresh medium? Does he go fresh soft? It's soft tyres for Doug. This is going to be interesting now. He's in P8 on the fresh soft tyres. Front wing change. Okay, front wing change for Doug as well. Maybe that was why he had to, he was dropping back as well. Front wing change, soft tyres for Doug. Let's go back up then to Bosch, Jan and Hazer. I mean, they've got a bit of a gap to Lynx, but it's only 8 tenths of a second, so still in DRS range. There'll be no flat spots on them. Yeah, I don't know why the game did that though. 20 laps on those tyres, and he said, yeah, we'll give you them. Angry Badger has also gone into the pits. He's on a not so very fresh set of hard, and in fact he's had a spin. He's actually got a 5-second penalty and retiring his Jar Jar Bing in a safety car. And these guys are all going into the pits. What has happened there? The Red Bull, I think, has actually binned it on track. Jar Jar Bing has lost it. I mean, he must have been celebrating around the checkered flag. It's about 20 laps early, but he must have been celebrating because that's where he lost it. But anyways, these guys are all into the pits and... Oh no! Hayes is on 23 lap old mediums. He's going to have to pit now. He's going to have to pit again. You might as well go soft tyres at this point, Hazer. I've got to be honest with you. That has screwed him over big time. The only advantage, he'll get 1 lap fresher tyres. The disadvantage, he'll lose about... Oh, he'll lose quite a few positions from this. I'm not sure how many exactly. But this will be... You do imagine he'll lose at least behind Doug. After that, he could even be behind DD Friend. Let's see. I'm potentially angry. Badger's into the pits himself, actually. I think they've all got to go soft, but sadly for Hazer, his tyres won't be feeling so good right now. And I think it could be a big shock to the likes of, maybe not Merck, because it wouldn't shock me if Merck knows the situation, but the likes of Lynx, Bolt and Boschan, you do imagine as well. These guys will quickly find out what is happening. But Hazer is going to pit again for fresh softs, I'm pretty sure. Ferrari strategies. Yeah, just in the wrong car, but it is pretty much a Ferrari strategy. The fact that Falcor Warrior retired, they gave his pit crew to Hazer, the strategy team, and that is why Hazer has gone for 23 lap old medium tyres. Anyways, we do expect him to pit. Yeah, I was going to say, you can't stay out on those tyres. Everyone's going to be like, why is he pitting? Well, yeah, I don't think he wants to stay out on 23 lap old medium tyres. I wouldn't. And there you go. Soft tyres, as you would expect. At least they are fresh. Okay. Always a glitch in the game there. I had a feeling it may have been actually. And now, he is ahead of the McLaren of DD Friend. P7, it could have been worse. It could have been worse than P7, to be fair. Shadow also is on the first soft, so that actually gains Hazer an extra place, to be honest. That's not too bad. P7. Game really wants to make the most of these tyres. Yeah. Giving Coffee 20 laps and giving Hazer 23 laps. I bet it did say to Hazer, you will be on new tyres. That's actually been a glitch as well, to be fair. There has been a glitch in the game for a while. It obviously doesn't do it very often, but it does it sometimes. It's obviously happened a couple of times tonight. So we're going to get, what, 16 laps of racing, I do imagine? I'm going to be honest, I disagree with the fuel on that. For me personally, this has always been a really high fuel consumption track. A lot of the time you need safety cars just to recover that fuel. From what I've experienced anyway. But there you go, you may just be a lot better at recovering that fuel than me. Connection, wait, controller disconnected. And dump me into the wall. Oh, ouch. Ouch, ouch, ouch. I see. Well, it looked to me, Jar Jar, like you just wanted to celebrate next to the checkered flag. But I was saying it was about 20 laps too early, but that's how it looked to me. Because your car was literally right next to the checkered flag. Going to be a fun sprint to watch, I do imagine so, yes. I was saving 2, had 2.5 extra at the start, needed a safety car. I mean, I can't be the only one who normally does know that Zandvoort will struggle for fuel. Surely not. Especially if you don't get a safety car at Zandvoort, you better have started with a good amount of fuel, honestly. It's not quite like Qatar. I mean, Qatar is a proper fuel haven, but I still think Zandvoort is one of the higher tracks when it comes to challenges regarding fuel. Monaco. Monaco is another one. Wow, the fuel around Monaco. Jesus. Right, safety car is in this lap then. Zandvoort and Qatar, I always have them wrong. What do you mean always have them wrong? What with the fuel? I mean, Qatar, you have to go high fuel. Unless you're expecting loads of safety cars, which you shouldn't really get loads for Qatar. But I think Zandvoort, to be fair to Zandvoort, you can get safety cars. We've seen a couple tonight and a virtual as well. Maybe 2 virtuals. So we can bring out safety cars around here. But anyways, we are back underway. Into the pits to go a McLaren there. And Doug, oh, side by side coming through Lynx and Merc. Lynx trying to get the move done. And there's potential contact between them. He's forceful. And he has forced Merc off track as well. That is very forceful. Feel free to clip that if any of you wish to. But he did seem to force Merc off track there. That was pretty evident. And that for me is a clear-cut penalty for the Haas of Lynx Peace. Which could mean Bosjan is in the clear to possibly go on a win. And out of nowhere, Russell Bolt was in 3rd place as well. Oh, Hayes out! Hayes out! Oh my goodness, what has happened? The AlphaTauri is stricken! Unbelievable! And it's only a virtual safety car, is the game taking the mick or what? But Hayes is out, the championship leader is out of the race, it's a virtual safety car. Did he just get on the curb too much? Is that all that happened? Was there more to it? But wow, what a crazy restart we have just had. First of all, incident between Merc and Lynx Peace, where Lynx Peace forced him off track. A clear penalty in my view. But second of all, Hazer? What was that? You do not see Hazer making many mistakes. Hazer's made a mistake. When he makes a mistake, you've got to take advantage. Well, all you've got to do is finish. Therefore, you will take advantage. Now let's go back to the battling, which won't involve Hazer, but it would involve, maybe involve Merc. Wow, he's gone well off track there. Doug's gone through. Doug has sailed past Merc. I'm not even sure what happened to Merc there. He's on 4.5 soft tyres. Has he got wing damage potentially? He's having a battle now though with Doug. He's not giving this one up too easily. He did give it up not so long ago. That must have been a mistake from the Williams. I thought he was letting him through there, Doug, but there you go, maybe not. Maybe he's genuinely trying to fight it. But that, you don't see that from Hazer very often. Once in a blue moon. But it has happened here at Zandvoort this evening. Hazer is out at Zandvoort. Shadowman making a move on Angry Badger up into P9. Merc is still tracking down Doug. Gaps are being formed though. The 2 Haas drivers are clear. This could be a debut win for Bosjan this evening. Especially thinking that Lynx is surely going to get a penalty for that. And there you go. Merc does get through on Doug up into the top 5. But who else can challenge? Because Bolt has not exactly had mesmerising pace this evening. Trez is on older mediums. You might be looking towards the likes of Merc and Doug, but they are well off right now. Well off. No penalties as well for any of the drivers. Major pit stop strategies. Let's not talk about that. They are, what, 5.6 for Merc and 6.3 for Doug. They are so far off the pace right now. They need something absolutely miraculous to close up. They could still be thinking about a podium here, especially with Lynx having a potential podium on the horizon. But Merc here, is he going to go for this attempted move? Not quite on the Aston Martin. Merc settles in behind here. I will be watching out for that delta for the leaders as well. The 2 Haas drivers, half a second splitting them. I might go up now, but Merc is surely going to make this move here. Yeah, Prez not fighting it on his old and medium tyres as well. And there you go, through goes UFRL Merck and through goes Stug as well. And they are both up into P4 and P5 respectively. Prez losing both places. Let's go back up then towards two house drivers, Bosjan and Lynx. This is genuinely going and looking like a debut victory for FGE Bosjan in the 100% tier. Wow. In a race where Hazer has made a genuine error. Don't see that often, do you? But let's see what can happen then. Further down the field. Still having a few battles there. Merck, Doug, Prez still hanging on in there. But I don't think his medium tyres will be feeling too great as opposed to the softs right now. And also you've got DD Friend, Shadow and Angry Badger. They are on the rear of Sergeant Devsey. But this is the battle for the lead. And we'll stick with this unless we feel we need to change our mind. And let's go and see if Link's Piece will make the move to turn 1 or will he just hold in behind? I think he's just hanging in behind here. Yeah, not going for the overtake here, Link's Piece. Not pressing too much like he did with Williams. But anyways, let's go further down. DD Friend very close to Devsey. Oh, very close to Devsey. He was having a second look into turn 1. Didn't quite make it happen there for the McLaren, but he hangs in behind. And now into turn 4. Has the McLaren got the grip on those hard tyres, don't forget, for DD Friend. Won't make it easy for him, and he knows he will have Shadow all over him. DD Friend, I'm sure he must know somewhat about Shadow, because they haven't raced each other much, but DD Friend racing in Tier 3. Shadow has raced in Tier 1 previously, obviously, for a few seasons. So I do imagine DD Friend will know off Shadow's pace. So it wouldn't be a surprise if DD Friend has that pressure on him right now. And also further up then, Doug has lost time to Merck 2 seconds. He's in fact got Prez and Sergeant Devsey directly behind him. So not sure what mistake Doug made there. But no mistake here surely from the Haas. In fact, Link's Piece stays behind Bosjan once again in P2. Further down here, Prez down the inside on Doug. They are squabbling side by side into turn 1, and now on the run through into turns 2, and then it will be turn 3 and into turn 4. But there you go, Prez has made the move on Doug's stick. What about Sergeant Devsey going for the wider line, approaching it at a hairpin, and on the exit he will go on the run down through. But look at Doug, he's got this red light flashing already. Doug is in a bit of trouble here. If he wants a strong result, he was looking like he was a genuine top 3, top 4 contender. Now he might struggle to get into the top 6. And to the leaders we go, but again, no real opportunity here for Lynx. He will get a chance in a few corners' time when they exit out of turn 14. But let's see if Doug wants to make a move on Prez. Not quite. He will stay in P6. He votes to remain, but let's see. Bosjan and Link's Piece again on the run through to turn 1. No moves being made further back just yet. And this is where Link's Piece, is he going to go for the overtake to turn 1? He's just too far behind, 0.2 of a second. And he stays in P2 further back then. You've got Prez, and here comes Doug. He is making a move to turn 1, side by side again. And then maybe minor contact. But it does look like Doug has got his way and making the move. But Prez attacks it and attacks it hard. They are still squabbling out of turn 4. But through goes Prez. He defends from Doug gloriously and is up into 5th place again. Doug cannot make it stick further back. Devsey and DD Friend Shadow in behind. Go on board directly with Shadow for this one. Actually, we have to change it because this view is looking good for DD Friend. Can he make a move on Sergeant Devsey? The 2 drivers at the front as well going for it between Bosjan and Link's Piece. But Devsey does get through on DD Friend and up into 7th place here. What can DD Friend do about that one on those old hard tyres? Well, they're not old, but they're not gold as well. They are not gold, that's for sure. In fact, they're white. There you go. That's the real answer to that question. They're white, not gold. Let's go further up again to the top 2. Does Link's Piece make his overtake into turn 1? Angry Badger closing in on Shadow. Shadow must have made a mistake there. Torben under the pressure, and in fact he's lost the place already. Is it front wing damage? He's into the pits. He may have front wing damage here. Is he going to retire his car, in fact? Wait, what? Okay. I was going to say, what had happened there? He might be retiring, but either way, he is going to potentially change that wing. And, well, it doesn't look like he's retiring yet. He's taking his time if he is going to retire. But that's definitely front wing damage. He's definitely replacing that wing. And he's gone out onto soft tyres. Well, they will be the best tyres right now. Fresh softs. Sadly for him, he is in P10. Out of nowhere, I didn't even realise I Am Batman has unlapped himself, has he? He's either over a lap down or he's under a lap down. He might be over. Might be over, actually. There's a stick with this battle then for the lead. Only 8 laps remaining here between Bosjan and Link's Peace. I'm not seeing anybody potentially close up. It's surely a two-way battle. See, anyways, does Link's Peace go for an overtake? Not quite. He just has to settle in behind and also further back. Deficit on the rear of Doug. I don't know what's happened to Doug in this race. I've got to be honest. His pace has really drifted off here. Quite incredibly so. And now he's only having a battle for the top 5. And okay, he'll be, you know, if he gets 5th place, I'm sure Doug will be happy with 5th. But the longer he goes on those soft tyres, the more the balance will be gained from Prez on his mediums. So he can't take too long, Doug, if he just want to make any moves. Merck also challenging his Williams teammate Russ Bolt into turn 11, but has to stay in P4, and also the top 2 again will go battle into turn 1. Link's Peace seemingly is just trying to hold on to his battery right now. Never mind on that one. He is going for the overtake, but he just drops him behind. He does not go for the overtake there, Link's Peace, and stays in P2. Merck does take Rusted Bolt up into P3 now, goes Merck. He's got some pace. Does he have the pace to catch up, though? As our Sergeant Devsey also trying to make a challenge on Doug for P6. Doug, something has happened to the Mercedes of Doug in this race. I don't know what, but his pace has gone from quite impressive to bang average, in all fairness. And Sergeant Devsey is challenging Doug here. He's not going to go for the overtake just yet, but Doug is under heaps of pressure. Whatever has happened to Doug, it is quite major, and that is why he's losing that pace now. Let's go back up to the top 2 here, Bosjan and Link's Peace. It looks like a Haas 1-2, albeit with a potential Link's Peace penalty on the cards. But let's see what can happen into turn 1. Does Link's Peace go for it this time, or does he not try and back out of the move? Well, he doesn't look like he's close enough. He stays behind his teammate. I mean, they're obviously happy to be 1 and 2, but surely within the next few laps they are going to play battle. Sergeant Devsey does get through this time on Doug. Doug with no battery at all. Devsey up into the top 6. In fact, no driver in this two-way battle have any battery. It's quite crazy because Doug was up there in that top 4, top 5 group throughout the whole race, bar the start. And all of a sudden, he's down in P7 behind the likes of Prezi, Devsey, and also Rusted Bolt. And he's got no answer for them. In fact, it wouldn't shock me very soon if DD Friend could be able to catch that. Maybe DD Friend could end up beating Doug here. I know one thing, DD Friend does need to start signing up a little bit earlier if he wants to get a better car than the McLaren. Maybe, he's happy with the McLaren, I don't know. He does tend to be in the McLaren quite often though, whichever tier he's in. I always think of DD Friend, he's a McLaren driver. He must have agreed some sort of long-term contract with McLaren, surely, if he keeps driving in that car. So the 2 Haas drivers are still going at it here for Bosjan and Link's Peace. And into turn 4 they go once more. Still no moves being made. And it will give Bosjan a chance to run away, but Lynx Piece will not let him do so. They're just trying to stick in that DRS range. Stick with the battery as well. And let's see who ends up winning with just 4 laps of racing remaining. But do not discount the potential of Merck here, because he is starting to close up the gap, you know, at 1.8 seconds now. In fact, Rusted Bolt is almost out of that DRS range, and that gap is still closing, 1.7. It did go to 1.6 just a minute ago as well. They do get DRS to run away, but through the corners, it does look like Merck is closing the gap. So let's see what Merck can do here. 1.6 seconds now. Is it going to fall to 1.5? Yes, it does. I know these two, again, Lynx Piece in particular, will open up the gap. But there may be a time here where Lynx Piece decides he's had enough and he's going to go for the move into turn 1. It's not quite now. But also think about it this way. If Lynx doesn't go for the overtake on Bosjan, that means Merck is not really losing time. So, well, this makes it interesting. Merck could catch up here. Prezi Prez overtaking Devsey. And he's making those medium tyres work now, is Prezi Prez. He's up into 5th place. And Sergeant Devsey is still in behind. Let's go back up to the top 2, because they were just 0.2 of a second between them. Currently on lap 69 and just running down midway through into sector 2 rather at the moment. But what can Bosjan or Lynx Piece do? Just heading around turn 10 and onto the little mini straight, or the back straight you may want to call it, into turn 11. Again, still no moves are being made, but it's not going to be long until Lynx Piece goes for the win, or what he will feel was a win, but he may get a penalty anyway. Bosjan will need to defend this, and he's got to be careful with it. He doesn't want to blow his battery whilst Lynx Piece is not attacking him. Is Lynx Piece attacking him here? Is he attacking him here? He is. It's turn 1, but just stays behind. But again, because of that narrow line there from Lynx Piece, it gives Merck an extra couple of tenths of a second. And Merck is bringing along, he's tagging along his teammate Rusted Bolt as well. This could be an incredible 4-way battle through the final couple of laps here if the two Williams can catch the two Haas drivers here. They are not far behind. They've got a chance, especially if Lynx Piece goes all out for the attack on Bosjan. Let's see what happens. We've got 2.5 laps of racing remaining. Who's going to end up winning this one? Will it be Bosjan? Will it be Lynx, Merck, or Rusted Bolt? The 4-way battle, potentially, is what could be unfolding if Merck and Bolt can catch up. It will, of course, be tricky even then. If Merck does catch up, it'll be difficult for him to end up winning. Same with Rusted Bolt in particular. Surely the two Haas drivers are the favourites to win here. But which one will take it? As we are about to start the penultimate lap of the Grand Prix. And now Lynx Piece, is he going? Is he going? Is he attacking at the turn 1? Not quite. And he does the same thing where he just hangs in there. Merck stays ahead of Rusted Bolt as well. And is now 1.3 behind. Devsey takes Prezi Prez down the inside of the turn 1. And up into the top 5 goes the Red Bull. It's been a good race here from Sergeant Devsey. I know he obviously had the drive-through penalty situation earlier on. But he, for me, has been one of the standout performers, an unlikely standout performer at that as well. But a great Grand Prix here from Sergeant Devsey. Earlier on, he was having a battle with Merck. You know what I mean? He was challenging Merck, he was challenging Doug, etc, etc. He's done a good race, Sergeant Devsey. I've been quite impressed by him. I know he's in a very good Red Bull car, but he's still done well. Anyways, I will note now, Merck is in 1 second range of the top 2. Which will just help him defend really from Bolt. I don't think he's in a position to attack. But this is going to be it. Out of turn 13 and now out of turn 14. It is attack versus defence. It is one Haas versus the second Haas. It's Bosjan versus Lynx Piece starting the final lap on lap 72. But Bosjan has enough to stay in the lead into turn 1. Now on the exit of 1, we go into turn 2. What can Lynx Piece do? Does he have enough grip? Does he have enough battery? Into turn 4 now. Can he make a move? Prezi taking Devsey to P5. Did he friend taking Doug? But Doug gets him back. Let's have a little watch of this one. Doug is back up into P7. Good move being made there whilst Prezi is ahead of Devsey. But let's go to the race leaders here. See what happens. Merck also under threat from his teammate Bolt. They are about a second behind now, so Merck not quite hanging on. But Link's Piece 2/10 of a second, 3/10 of a second. Is Merck going to go for it on the exit? Or Link's Piece rather. Would he go for it on the exit of turn 14 here? Let's see what he could do on the exit of turn 10 though. Does he make any attempt to sabotage the race for Bosjan? Is he happy with a Haas 1-2? Will he go for it on the exit of turns 13 and 14? This will be his final chance for glory here at Zandvoort. Will it be a debutant victory for Bosjan? Will Lynx take it away on track? Lynx gets squirmy. He will push and push and push. But surely is it enough? It's going to be close. Lynx Piece is fighting hard. It's a debut win for Bosjan. He takes it by 66 thousandths of a second. We saw it was remarkably close in Tier 1 on Monday night between Lynx Piece and Hazer. It's quite similar tonight. Lynx losing out to Bosjan. It is a Haas 1 and 2. Merck takes third place. Again, you may see Lynx ending up with a penalty. Bolt comes home fourth place. Prezi beats up Sergeant Devsey. Fifth place, but 1.5 tenths between them. Doug does take 7th ahead of DD Friend, who drops to P8. P9 for Shadow. P10 coming through will be Angry Badger, just taking it slowly at the moment. I Am Batman is ahead of him, but he is down in P11. So we'll wait for Angry Badger to go through. Actually, no, we'll go to I Am Batman. He is going to finish P11, and then we know we can move to the race winner. It's a debut victory for FGE Bossman. Bosjan, not Bossman. He might want to call himself Bossman. Who knows? Batman goes through. Badger will be the final driver. Let's go to your race winner, FGE Bosjan, who may call himself Bossman after this race. That is a remarkable, sublime drive to take the victory here at Netherlands. Absolutely brilliant. There you go. Podium celebrations are on. Haas 1 and 2. Again, you don't know. Lynx may get a penalty. But FG Bosjan has effectively been a boss man tonight and comes home with the trophy. Absolutely stupendous stuff here. Well deserved in the end. He had the pace throughout the race really to hold in and around those race leaders. Had the right strategy calls. And it's obviously worked in favour of him. Fair play and full respect to Bosjan on that race. Hazer may have something to think about in terms of having some pressure on you after that performance from the 2 Haas and the 2 Williams at the end doing well as well. And there you go, full results for you. Bosjan and Lynx 1 and 2, followed by the 2 Williams of Merck and Rusted Bolt. Third row finishing are Prezi Press and the Aston Martin ahead of the Red Bull of Sergeant Devsey. On the fourth row, Doug in the Mercedes ahead of the McLaren of DD Friend. And final finishers here, Shadow in the Alfa Romeo, who also got the fastest lap. Angry Badger in the Ferrari. And last of all, a finishing position here for I Am Batman in the McLaren. Hazer DNFing, the last DNF in fact. Then you got Jar Jar Bing, Coffee, Geldy, Mr. Poem, Algary, and Volcore Warrior. There's not that many incidents. To be fair, we probably didn't quite get to the end. Almost got to the end. Very close. But anyways, either way, it has been victory for debutant FGE Bosjan this evening. Excellent stuff from him. He'll be delighted with that one. Especially in an incredibly close ending there. 66 thousandths of a second to have denied Lynx the win tonight. We'll just check how close the gap was on Monday night. Hopefully, did I post it? Yeah, I did. The gap on Monday night between Hazer and Lynx Piece was 91 thousandths of a second. We thought that was close. This one was even closer, 66 thousandths of a second. And that is the gap between Bosjan ahead of Lynx Piece. Lynx Piece been very unlucky not to get any wins on track. Losing out by about a tenth of a second, less than a tenth of a second in both races on the Monday and the Friday night. Can he fare better on Monday night in the Tier 1, of course? We'll wait and see. But anyways, let's go through what we have coming up for you in the week ahead. First of all, tomorrow night, 9 o'clock PM for the international tier, and that'll be at Paul Ricard in France. See who comes out on top. So would it be our Hazer again. Of course, he had a DNF tonight, so is he the man in form? We'll wait and see. Pesci would obviously be there. Mr. P, Merck as well. Lynx might be in there. So feel free to watch out for that one. Tomorrow night, 9 o'clock p.m. for the international tier at Paul Ricard. Monday night, tier 1, and it will be round 16 at the Australian Grand Prix. That will be a one-shot qualifying in dry conditions. Tier 2, that title race started to heat up a little bit. I'm going to stay a bit quiet on that one. But it heads to the Canadian Grand Prix on Tuesday night and see what happens there. Tier 3, round 16, will be at Jeddah, and it will be one-shot quali dry conditions as well. And next Friday be round 16, and it will be held at Monza. So the might of Monza, and it is showing up that it will be one-shot quali. So let's see, one-shot qualifying at Monza, and it will be one-shot qualifying in wet conditions. So it'll be wet conditions for qualifying, and the race will be dry, wet, dry. So at Monza, we will be getting some rain, ladies and gentlemen, and it is going to be the 100% race. That'll be intriguing to watch. That'll be next Friday, but that is your week ahead, the schedule for what we are doing. But anyways, I have been UFRL F1 Viva. We have been UFRL. That has been Zandvoort, and that has been a debut victory for FGE Bosjan. Thank you for watching, and good night.